So my baby driving, so y'all see me doing all this, but so I'm very big on a lot of stuff. I'm very big on growing our people, fixing our communities, and just really looking at all of the stuff that we do. Because once you get disconnected from the programming and everything that's running in the minds of our people, that's running in our communities, you get to see so clearly. And the sad thing is, and I can't knock, because I've been in the same program and I've been in the same mindset. I used to function off the same patterns of operation. But when you don't understand, when the information isn't taught, it just continues to perpetuate the problem. So they have science out that talks about the power of words. The scriptures talk about how life and death is in the power of the tongue, right? The Most High created all things with word, right? Everything is moving, everything is vibrating. That's how it all functions, right? They got science that talks about, and everybody who used to do any type of gardening knows that you can speak positively to plants and they grow, right? They blossom, they bear much more fruit. They got scientific studies that talk about how certain music produces certain geometric shapes, right? They got science that talks about how certain words are looked at as higher frequency words, which is more positive words, which produce certain geometric shapes, right? And how negative words can cause certain water to turn black and all kind of stuff, right? Cause plants to die and everything. I just watched this individual with 2 little babies, and everything that came out their mouth was negative. But for some reason, in their mind, it's almost as though they thought it was affection, right? So they calling them stank, talk about just negative, really verbal and emotional damage, because emotional scars run deeper than the physical, right? But I was thinking about it. I was like, man, it's wild when you really can see the programming that's on our communities. Because when you think about everything we talk about and a lot of the stuff we say to each other, a lot of stuff we do, the things that we're taught that is acceptable to say to our younger ones and different things like that, it's all negative. It's those negative words that produce cancer, that produce stress, that produce those things that ultimately corrupt any type of stability. And it's like when you really see the type of stuff that people are cultivated in, I'm saying, like, that even breaks down this concept of this gender war even more, because it ain't the men that's just specifically causing individuals to be angry or mistrustful. It's like, man, sometimes the way that they would talk to about their mother, their grandmother, their aunties, their uncles, their cousins, the way we talk to each other as our homeboys, homegirls, and all this other stuff, the way we talk to each other is really why we all upset. I'm not gonna say that's the only reason, but we don't speak life to each other. Everything is death, and it's just a lot of negativity. We always talk about how music don't influence nobody. Scientifically, that's not true. You can believe that if you want to. Everybody want to trust the science for everything else until the science contradicts what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we say, oh, well, music don't affect me. But they got sociological and psychological studies that prove that that's not true. The tempo affects you. The words affect you. The rhythm, the chants, all that stuff affects you and produces certain impacts on your mind, on your emotions, on how you think, on the worldview, everything about it. But I sat here and I watched whatever this mother had been programmed by manifesting itself through the words that she was using to in turn program her children and her daughters. So if you constantly talking negative to your daughters, how are you going to, and I'm just sitting here looking sad for this baby, because I'm like, man, the mother doesn't even realize she's setting her up to be riddled with insecurities that a predator is just waiting to exploit. And I'm not talking about a predator that's like that preys on children. I'm talking about a situation where there are individuals with a predatory mindset that sees the vulnerabilities of a woman and they exploit that for selfish gain. So when you constantly talking down and you don't talk to them properly, right? But they're supposed to be looking at you as one that loves them, then they start to confuse what someone who loves them really talks like, right? They also start to develop these insecurities because the one who loves them is shaping their mindset and how they view themselves. So if you're always talking about them having like crusty lips and ashy knees, and you're consistently cultivating insecurities, and I see our communities, we do it the most, and then we act like it's not for real. We downplay the power of our words. We downplay the power of music. We downplay the influence of media. We downplay everything about all this stuff. People feel like, oh, they trying to ban TikTok. Man, all that stuff is affecting you negatively. So, I don't know. That's my little rant is over. Getting in a situation where it's like, man, when you see stuff, you got to start saying stuff. Look, just let people know. It ain't going to be well received. That's one thing our community lost. Our community used to check and hold each other accountable. But we don't do that no more.